Welcome back to Outdoors with Larry Ray on ESPN 790 AM. Brought to you proudly by Tennessee Wildlife Resource Agency, Barton Power Sports, Sportsman's Warehouse, and Best Care Home Services.
And welcome back to Outdoors with Larry Ray. And as you can tell, I use my FM voice this morning? But as you can tell from this charming voice, this is not Larry Ray. Because Larry Ray does have an AM voice. But I'm Dave Gabbard, sitting in Larry's chair this morning, which is, I'm going to have to get him a new chair. This chair, I've been fighting with this chair all morning. I don't see how he sits in it. But we've let Larry take some well-deserved time off this week, have a little vacation with the family, and kind of unwind, clear his mind, and everything. So he'll be back with us next week. And, of course, here in the studio with me, I got John Gordon with Avery. He's kind of my, as I said, industry guru. He keeps not only abreast of what's happening in the industry, which Avery's a big part of, but waterfowl, everything. And we're fixing to talk a little bit of waterfowl.
Let's do it.
Okay. We've got Jimbo Robinson with us, who's the regional director of West Tennessee Ducks Unlimited. Good morning, Jimbo.
Good morning, guys. How are y'all?
That's a good outdoor name. It sounds outdoors. Jimbo.
Yeah, Jimbo Robinson. That's a great outdoor name.
We'll probably start calling Greg Bubba or something. Bubba.
Hey,
Jimbo.
everybody in the outdoors got to have a nickname, right?
Yeah.
You can call me whatever you want. Just don't call me late for dinner.
But.
Sorry.
But understand that you got a big event coming up, Jimbo.
Yes, sir. This Wednesday, we have a big event out at DU's headquarters. The Germantown Cordova chapter is having their annual Sportsman's Dinner. Begin at 6 o'clock this Wednesday. You can still buy tickets online at tennessee.ducks.org. Go to the local events, Germantown Cordova dinner events listed on our website. And single tickets are $50, a couple $75, and then we always like to have the kids there. Their tickets are $20, and you can go online. We have different table options if anybody wants a last-minute table to buy. But, yeah, I got a great event Wednesday, this coming Wednesday night.
And, I know, always DU, as we say, puts on the dog, for these events and stuff. And good food. Good fellowship, good prizes, and
oh yeah,
but
great food. Our local, we try to use our local caterers as much as we can at these events. And Soulfish Cafe has been just a tremendous partner for us in this event. They're going to cater the food, and they do a tremendous job.
And at DU, this is their dinners like this is the principal fundraisers and stuff. And I was just noticing in the outdoor press this week, the Tennessee Wildlife Resources Agency, which is, I guess, who supports me, sends me a check twice a month, but just has increased their contribution to DU for Canada Habitat Restoration. And is that money, is that paired with like the money that y'all will be raising at these dinners?
Most definitely. They take the dollars that are raised inside the state of Tennessee and are able to use matching dollars from NAWCA to do more work. We couldn't afford it. TWRA, everybody couldn't afford it on our own. It's the partnerships that we have through the North American Wetlands Conservation Act and our partners as in TWRA. We're able to take these $1 and match them 4 and 5 times, 2 times, 3 times, 4, 5 if we're lucky, on the projects we have here locally in Tennessee.
And I know, that the, from the agency wise, that's an increase, that our Tennessee Fish and Wildlife Commission, think, this is a worthwhile project. So, they, as they say, they upped the ante a little bit. And
the state's done, the TWR staff, on under the leadership of Mr. Ed Carter, the executive director, they now contribute $166,000 to the program in Canada, which is a tremendous amount of money, and that was a big increase over the previous years.
And I know my co-pilot sitting over here in the chair, John. I know you just got back from Texas. You know, you're a lifetime chaser of the little feathered creatures, I guess. And so, what did you happen to see in Texas down there on the early teal stuff?
Well, it was pretty fascinating. We were in the central Texas coast area around Matagorda, and then we hunted around Wharton, Texas. And I was down there on a Ducks Unlimited media camp. So a lot of what Ducks Unlimited does on the communications side, headed up by James Powell, is to raise awareness for a lot of the things that Ducks Unlimited has going on around the country. You know, Taylor Abshire was with us as well. He's a biologist right there out of the Richmond, Texas office, and he was really explaining to me what they do down there with the private landowners in really creating duck habitat in their wetland projects. You know, really providing the dirt work to build levees and then water control structures to control water. It really creates a lot more habitat for the ducks that winter down there. And what we saw was, that the blue-winged teal were plentiful. I mean, from what I've ever seen on the population surveys for this year so far, the blue-winged populations are up, and I certainly can attest to that. But also, not only that, but there were a lot of big ducks already down there, especially pintails, shovelers, and the local mottle ducks were around. The mottle duck is something we never really see here, but down there in the Texas coast, I mean, they really depend on the Ducks Unlimited, and the state of Texas projects for their nesting grounds. That's where they nest, and they winter in Mexico.
Yeah, and that's a lot of people may not realize. Not only do you have to have the habitat improvement in Canada, but you got to have the habitat, on the other end.
Right
might
here in
say
the
the flyway. So when they came down, and speaking of, I was reading earlier this week, DU their forecast for the flyways. And, Jimbo, it looks like we're going to have a pretty good year.
Oh, yeah. I mean, if you look at the numbers, the May pond counts, so the Mississippi Flyway, as most of you guys, all you guys will know, we are the prairie pothole region is what supplies most of our ducks. We are very fortunate in this region, and the numbers are up. The May pond counts were very good. It looked like about a 10% increase on the May pond counts compared to the 2016 estimate. And, if that weather does right, the amount of birds that we could see come down this flyway could be absolutely incredible this year.
Right. And I know, talking to people, I know that last year when they were venturing up that way, they were talking about even in the fall how wet it was last year. So, I'm pretty sure a lot of that moisture was retained over, throughout the winter. So, of course, here, duck season in Tennessee, we kind of have a split. The middle of November, we'll have a 2-day reelfoot season. And then the weekend after Thanksgiving will be the first 2-day opener. And then we'll go again, first weekend in December there, go late and straight, as I call it, to the last Sunday in January.
Right, and that's really close, a lot closer than most people have realized. Yeah. It'll be here before you know it.
Oh, yeah. October, coming up here is the main month that me and my cohorts, that's when we start working on equipment for the upcoming season and stuff. So, I think it's going to be a pretty good season if the weather cooperates.
Isn't that always the way it is for us here in the Mississippi Flyway in this part of the world is the weather? And I was talking to Taylor again about that, and he said in Texas, historically, the cold winters have followed in the same years with hurricanes. So, Of course, Harvey, just happened there, and so, if history follows, it's going to be a cold winter.
And
that's what a lot of people – it's kind of funny you said that because I heard somebody say the other day, with all the negative effects of these hurricanes, and I can't remember which one it was. The year we had Charlie and all those hurricanes, I can't remember what year it was, but a cold winter followed all those hurricanes in a bad hurricane year. So, I don't want to ever say I love hurricane season, but those, because I don't at all. But who knows?
And switch back gears again to your Sportsman's Dinner and Auction that's coming up. How many in the Mid-South area do you have right off the top of your head that y'all do every fall?
How many events?
Right.
Oh, man, we've got Germantown has an event, obviously, coming up this Wednesday night, September 27th. And then we have a chapter in Arlington that has an event on October 19th. That's at Club Windward. And then our big Memphis event, our Memphis chapter, they have their event on November 9th at the Memphis Hilton. So we have 3 events. We just had 2 events in the last month. In fact, about a week and a half ago, we had the women's event out at headquarters. It's an all-ladies chapter. We have 5 big events in the fall here in the Mid-South or Shelby County area. So we had a lot of action this fall.
And how long is it, when DU moved their headquarters, from the Chicago area, that if I remember correctly, down to Memphis, how many years ago was that?
25 years ago exactly this year.
It don't seem like it was just yesterday.
True.
But that must be, I'm either time is flying or I'm getting older. So, but
I think that's both, Dave.
yeah, but we want to thank you for joining us this morning, Jimbo. And of course,
yes, sir. I really appreciate y'all having me on.
And might want to remind the public one more time about where to get your tickets at.
Yes, sir. Go to TN, that'd be Tennessee.duck.org. Go to the local events tab, and you'll see the Germantown Cordova event right there. Come on out and join us this Wednesday night. It's going to be an awesome night for the Ducks.
Okay. Well, we sure appreciate you taking time with us this morning. And everybody out there listening to us in Radio Land. Y'all get up, take a break. We're going to come back for our next segment, Talk Fish again, when Outdoors with Larry Ray.
Find out all about it on Outdoors with Larry.